You don't need a microscope to see the problem. You need a defibrillator. Two stinkers in a row, and the Green Bay Packers offense looks less like a well-oiled machine and more like a car that won't start on cold mornings. A 16-13 loss to the Carolina Panthers felt alarming. Monday's 10-7 home loss to the Philadelphia Eagles felt terrifying. This isn't a blip. It's a pattern that, if left unchecked, will cost the Packers a season they still had a real chance to control. Let's be blunt. 7 points on 10 possessions is not a game plan. It's a protest. The Packers moved the ball willy-nilly at times, but the offense never clicked when it counted. Jordan Love isn't the problem at a glance. He's been mostly solid this season, but good QB play needs good context. Routes need to be run cleanly, protection needs to hold, and the plan needs to be bold enough to compel defenses to respect every phase of the field. Against the Eagles, none of that happened. Receivers dropped throws. The offensive line didn't hold up. Tight windows got tighter. The scoreboard reflected the chaos. There are a few obvious culprits to point at. Missing bodies matter. The team has been without receiver Jaden Reed since week 2, and tight end Tucker Kraft wasn't available Monday. Those absences stripped the offense of spacing tools and reliable short area security blankets. But we can't pin this entirely on injuries. Good teams find ways. Great coaches scheme around personnel losses. A truly functional offense does not look this helpless when the depth chart gets thinner. Blocking was porous. Pressures turned promising drives into 3-and-outs or punt setups. When the line can't consistently create a 2-second pocket, Love has to do extra work. And that usually means trying to manufacture plays with his feet or forcing throws to windows that aren't there. That's how interceptions, sacks, and stalled drives pile up. The tape shows it. The pocket gets squeezed, the route timing breaks, and receivers are left to run toward a place the ball never reaches. Drops are a problem too, but again, they're a symptom, not the disease. When the quarterback is late or low from pressure, even the best hands look bad. The difference between a catch and a drop on Monday night was often a half step or a slightly off-target ball. Clean the pocket, and a lot of those drops turn into completions. Game planning is another area that's flashing red. Green Bay's offense has leaned too often on conservative scripts and short area dink and dunk attempts in critical moments. That's fine as a baseline, but only if the team mixes in enough vertical or intermediate threats to keep defenses honest. The Eagles dared the Packers to run it slow, and Green Bay obliged, play after play, while the crowd got quieter and the clock turned against them. For a coach with a 72-36-1 record like Matt LaFleur, this is an avoidable strategic failure, not a surprise. 2 losses like this test the fabric of a season in 2 ways, practical and psychological. Practically, the NFC is crowded. Half a dozen teams are waiting for a wobble. A fumbling offense in November loses home field advantage quickly. Psychologically, the players start to believe the noise. The margin for error gets smaller, the throws get tighter, the indecision grows. That compounding effect turns a slump into a slide. So what's the fix? Short, tactical, and urgent. 1, protect the quarterback better. Not with platitudes, but with action. Slide protections. More max protect calls on obvious passing downs and quicker release designs. 3-step drops, catch-and-go slants, quick screens that neutralize bull rushes. If the line can't be surgically improved overnight, scheming becomes the priority. 2, simplify the reads for Jordan Love when the pocket collapses. Design more high-percentage immediate completion plays that allow receivers to catch and run. Take the pressure off perfect timing. Build systems that turn 6-yard passes into 15-yard gains after the catch. 3, put a sharper emphasis on situational aggressiveness. Mix in play action on early downs, bootlegs that exploit aggressive pass rushes, and at least a token downfield shot every drive. Keep defenses from loading boxes and daring you to operate at 3 yards per carry. 4, coach the drops out of the unit with focused, live reps that mimic game speed. There's no substitute for repetition, especially when the margin between catch and drop is so small. 5, reassess third down scripts. The Packers' failure to convert in key moments has been a recurring theme. Third down isn't for heroics, it's for plays that move the chains. Tighten the calls, prioritize short to intermediate timing routes, and put reliable options in Love's hands. There are deeper questions too. Is the receiving room constructed to be a consistent threat without Jaden Reed? If not, the front office should be ticking off contingency plans. Does the offensive line need personnel changes? Can the coaching staff find creative ways to compensate for missing pieces? Those aren't instant fixes, but they're the conversation points that need to start happening in the film room and the front office now. Finally, the mental reset. The Packers locker room needs a visible pivot, a practice week that's equal parts accountability and simplification. Confidence is built by stringing together small wins, converting third downs in practice, executing 2-minute drills cleanly, and ceding fewer penalties. The fans will come back when they see progress. Small, consistent execution is the shortest path to quieting the panic. At 5-3-1, Green Bay is not spiraling into oblivion, but they are at a crossroads. The next stretch of games will determine whether this team is a legitimate contender that needs a minor course correction or a squad that will look back at these 2 weeks as the turning point where promise began to fade. If you're a Packers fan, don't panic like it's the end of the world. Panic like it's a wake-up call. This problem is fixable, but only if the team treats it with the urgency it deserves. Clean the protection, simplify the plan, coach the fundamentals back into the receivers and the O-line, and watch the scoreboard start to look like the unit you expected to see in September. The league isn't about comfort, it's about adaptation. Right now, Green Bay needs to adapt fast before the rest of the NFC takes advantage of a team that forgot how to finish.